Next video. In today's video I will show you how to use server actions in client components while using Next.js. So let's get started. So here you can see I just have an input and I have a search button, and I'm using the Unsplash API. So if I enter any kind of a query, so this is a client component, but the API call is done on a server. So suppose I enter like chocolate, then it will give me, and if I click on search button, here you might have seen that the search button turns to loading, and once we have everything, it displays all the chocolates for us. So yeah, that's what I will be doing in this video. So if you don't have an Unsplash developer account, you can go to unsplash.com/developers and create a developer account, and this is my Next.js application. So pretty simple, right? So I will remove this unnecessary code, and firstly I am using a use client directive on inside my page.tsx, and here you can see that I have taken an image list which will contain all the photos from Unsplash, and this is pending and start transition needs to be used whenever you are calling a server actions from a client component, so that we will get to know whether the action is still is in progress or it has been already executed. Also the start transition, from what I have heard, it helps us to capture the boundary error, so that our entire page does not crash in case there is some issue from our server actions. That's why we use this, and there is this text input for our input state. So here you can see I have just taken a div, and inside input, once you type something, I'm just handling the state accordingly, and I'm displaying the button depending on whether is pending is true or false. So if it is false, we display the button. If it is true, then we display this loading indicator. And once we get all the image which displayed this inside the Next.js image component, we map over that entire list. And here inside on click, you can see that I'm using the start transition, because we have to use this whenever you are using a server action inside a client component. And we call this get image function, which I have written inside a file called actions.ts. so the file name should be the same, actions.ts, and it should be so here you can see that this is my page.tsx, right? So it should be in the same hierarchy in whichever page you want to call. And here you can see I'm just calling this method which is present inside action.ts, which I will show you in a bit, and it will give you a data of all the image list, and I'm just assigning it to our state. Okay, so pretty simple. Inside next.config.js I have also added these images, because I have all these images which we get are hosted on images.unsplash.com. that's why we have to allow this. And if you see my submit button, all I'm doing is that, no, this is not required, sorry, this was something other thing. Like I was trying to do some server actions on the server side as well, so you can ignore that. The button is over here itself, and this is our Unsplash response. So this is how we will get the response, and I'm just getting the URLs, full URL. There are some other response as well, but I'm ignoring that. And what else? So and also you will have to create an env.local file, and you will have to add that access key and secret access from your Unsplash API. Don't use this because this is not valid. Next, if you check inside env.local, we are not writing public over here inside our access inside our env variables, because this is called on the server. And given that even though we are calling it from the client, the action is implemented on the server. So here is the URL, and here you will have to write use server at the top. Next, this is the get image, and we are passing the name from our client side, and this is how we send the params to our so I'm generating a query string for this. So this is how it looks like, and from that we will generate the entire URL. So we already have this URL, and we pass this query colon name, and then we encode it. So this is like all TypeScript magic which we have to do. Okay, and once we get the entire API URL, so here you can see inside the fetch call, once we construct the entire API URL, I am setting the cache as no cache, and you will have to pass the client ID over here. Okay, and what else? So from that response we generate the response.json, which will be in Unsplash response format, and from that we get data.results and sending it back to our client component, and just assign it to our use state variable. So yeah, that's it. Thank you for watching. Bye.